A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
How to commemorate Freedom Day. Commemorating South Africa's Freedom Day can be a very meaningful event.
While it marks the end of colonialism and the legacy of Nelson Mandela, the day should also serve as a reminder to work as a nation and celebrate freedom as a right. Here are a few ideas for the Freedom Day national celebration.
These ideas will help you commemorate this historic occasion. The freedom struggle is not over, and South Africans should continue their fight for freedom today.
Celebrate South Africa's Freedom Day. On April 27, 1994, South Africa held its first democratic national elections.
This was the first time people of all races were allowed to vote, making Freedom Day an important day for the country. While the African National Congress did win the elections, the day was also a day to celebrate the right to vote.
Today, South Africans are celebrating the day that they got to vote again. The celebration of Freedom Day continues to spur change and progress for the nation.
In 2010, the South African Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DIRCC, posted a photo of the first Freedom Day billboard in Times Square. A month earlier, in January, the same billboard was positioned on the 120-foot high screen of the Nasdaq building in New York City.
This year, Netflix is paying tribute to 12 South African films, which helped bring South Africa's democracy to the world. To commemorate Freedom Day, South Africans from all backgrounds will gather in the nation's capital, Cape Town.
The celebration will include cultural performances and the South African Air Force flypast. The day will be broadcast live on all major news channels and government-owned digital platforms.
In addition, accredited media will have access to the stadium. The celebration is an important day to remember and celebrate the country's liberation, as well as the achievements of its people.
The country's recent transition to democracy has been based on principles of reconciliation, human rights, and constitutionalism. The success of the transition to democracy in South Africa is a testament to these principles.
Many other African countries are also celebrating their Freedom Day with celebration and joy. When the government of South Africa is founded on principles of inclusive politics, human rights, and reconciliation, a new democratic era can emerge.
As the country moves from apartheid to democracy, many citizens are increasingly dissatisfied with the political system. This is why, on Freedom Day, the Democratic Alliance will visit disadvantaged communities in the Eastern Cape, and economic freedom fighter leader Julius Malema will speak at a rally in Mamelodi.
Meanwhile, several smaller political parties will mark the day as well. The ANC will not host any events, allowing the government to take the lead in celebrating South Africa's freedom.
Visit the Apartheid Museum in Johannesburg, or the Nelson Mandela capture site near Howick. Both museums feature interactive areas, as well as a sculpture of Madiba's face.
Throughout the tour, you'll learn about Mandela's struggle for freedom and his legacy. Afterwards, you can sign the Book of Freedom, the autobiography of Nelson Mandela.
Commemorate the end of colonialism. On the 25th anniversary of the end of colonialism, thousands of people have rallied outside Johannesburg to mark this day.
The South African people were deprived of their rights under the apartheid system. This led to unity that helped to bring down the apartheid system.
People in all sections of society realized the benefits of working together to build a better life. Apartheid was implemented in South Africa officially in 1948.
Although colonialism had plagued different African nations since the 1600s, the government in South Africa had enshrined racial segregation. The country's indigenous people of color were denied the right to vote and were kept out of the political process.
Apartheid left many South Africans marginalized and without the means to express themselves. This day honors those who fought for the country's liberation, and to the people who suffered under apartheid.
Despite the triumphs of the South African people, there is still much work to be done in order to end discrimination. Thousands of South Africans live in poverty and are denied basic rights.
To celebrate this day of freedom and equality, we should take the time to reflect on the history of our country. Apartheid discrimination and the injustice it created are still affecting many people today.
In 1994, the first democratic elections in South Africa took place. As Mandela led the way, South Africans waited in line for hours to vote.
These elections resulted in a new democratic government and a new constitution, ending over 300 years of oppression. Therefore, this day is celebrated as the end of colonialism on South Africa's Freedom Day.
There is a great sense of pride in celebrating this day. In 27 April, the first democratic elections took place in South Africa.
On that day, anyone above the age of 18 was allowed to vote. The right to vote was also celebrated and the end of colonialism was celebrated.
However, there are still plenty of challenges ahead. Despite the triumphs of democracy, Freedom Day continues to be an important day in South Africa.
If you are in the country, take some time to enjoy the country's freedom. There is something for everyone on Freedom Day.
During the time of the 1994 national elections, the ANC allied with the National Party and the Inkatha Freedom Party to form a government of national unity. The coalition eventually won more than 20 seats in the National Assembly.
Mandela was then elected the first black president of South Africa. In the following years, South Africa celebrated its 27th anniversary of independence.
The anniversary is celebrated on April 27, 1994, and is the anniversary of the end of colonialism in the country. Commemorate Nelson Mandela's legacy.
South Africa's Freedom Day celebrates the first democratic national elections. Held on April 27, 1994, this landmark event was a triumph for human rights and the end of apartheid.
The 1994 elections were the first to be held in South Africa, allowing citizens of all races to cast their vote. The elections were marked by a spirit of celebration, as Nelson Mandela was inaugurated as the first democratic president of the country.
In 2009, the United Nations General Assembly unanimously proclaimed July 18 as Nelson Mandela International Day. In honor of Mandela's life and contributions, this day calls for individuals to give 67 minutes of service to their communities.
By celebrating his legacy on South Africa's Freedom Day, people can renew their commitment to the ideals of equality and peace. Nelson Mandela is a great statesman and a tireless advocate of peace.
His imprisonment during apartheid was not only brutal but also politically repressive. His words were banned in his own country, but his incarceration spurred anti-apartheid activists around the world.
In the 1960s, United Nations members started calling for sanctions against South Africa, a call which only intensified in the years that followed. By 1990, South Africa was considered an international pariah and a leader in the struggle against apartheid.
The lessons of history are applicable to all of us today, and Mandela had a profound impact on all people he encountered. In fact, he even disarmed General Constant Viljoen, who was head of the far right in South Africa when Mandela was released from prison.
The two met in Viljoen's house after several intermediaries arranged. The meeting between Mandela and Viljoen, a national election, was held in 1994, in which millions of black South Africans exercised their right to vote.
The unprecedented turnout required the printing of 9.3 million ballots. On April 27, the ballots were distributed to voters.
Today, South Africa's Freedom Day commemorates Mandela's legacy and the struggle for freedom. It's a day for South Africa to reflect on the past and celebrate the progress of the country's democracy.
Celebrate Mandela's achievements and legacy on South Africa's Freedom Day. On April 27, South Africans celebrate Freedom Day by commemorating Nelson Mandela's victory over the apartheid regime.
As an international peacemaker, Mandela's leadership ended 300 years of colonialism and segregation and established a new state and government. Those who wish to commemorate Mandela's legacy on South Africa's Freedom Day are encouraged to do so by spending 67 minutes helping others.
Remember Mandela's first name Rolihlahla, which was given to him by a school teacher. Donate blood products today and help the South African National Blood Service meet their goal of 3,000 units of blood daily.
He is an inspiration for all people, so donate blood today and help save lives. There are two major hashtags to celebrate Mandela's legacy on South Africa's Freedom Day.